Man, it's a wonderful day to enjoy the last little bit of summer here in November. We're also going to put the bees to bed. You can see here I got a little handy dandy Hive Butler. If you guys haven't ever checked out this company, awesome products. This thing seals on 4 sides, so if you're like me and always pressed on time and you want to pull some frames, you can throw them in here and seal it up really good, and they'll be there when you actually have time. But I didn't put the ladies to bed yet. That's what we're going to do today. You can see my hive set up over here. We are 2 deep, or a medium, 1 deep, and 3 mediums for our honey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull one off. I'm going to combine anything down that's full for them, because that's what they did last winter and they survived and made it really well. So I'm going to try to do the same setup as I did last year, and that should be good for them. I do got a little work to do on the front because some of my wood's peeling up on my baseboard. I'm going to have to replace that next year. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's do some beekeeping. Like I said, these little Hive Butlers, they're awesome products. You can see right here, it's got 4 locks. It's got this nice lip on here for your frame to slide right into, grooves to fit right in. Frames just go in there perfect, real smooth and easy. The really cool thing is this is just a storage tank right here. There are some that have like a strainer on the bottom and then a honey door or gate on the front, so you can actually use it as an uncapping tank. Blah. And there's other ones that actually there's a mesh lid, so these little honeycomb shaped right here would be like a mesh, and you can use that to catch swarms. So you can get them into this box, throw the swarm lid on top of them, and you'll be able to transport them a lot easier. Super awesome product. This is probably the best thing I have found for putting frames in, for storing honey, for trying to catch a swarm, which I did earlier this year very unsuccessfully. I failed massively at catching a swarm. Yeah, that was bad. But this thing does work for all sorts of stuff like that. So awesome tool. If you're a beekeeper, I highly suggest getting yourself a little Hive Butler. And they got one of the... Now, I'm usually not a fan of smoking the bees, but it is kind of late in the year. So I am going to do it just because I want to make sure that, you know, they don't get too rambunctious on me, and I'm just going to be in there quick. So hopefully we can coexist a little bit, you know, peacefully right now, because they're not really apt to be out this time of year. It's really late in the season, but it is a nice day, so I do see some of them flying out a little bit, but it's not as active as it would normally be in the summertime in those really nice months. So we're definitely going to smoke them, kind of get them to calm down a little bit while we go in there.
You're so
smoke myself.
Chewing on you just makes my jaw break. You're a hard pill to swallow. Forgetting you just seems impossible. You keep crawling back with no intention to stay.
So you see right here, this frame right here, it's completely empty. They haven't done any work to it at all. This is why we're going to go check that top box, because we don't want that in there, because it's just going to be space they have to heat up over the winter, which could cause them to die. So we want to remove anything that they don't need or they're not going to use, so they don't have to heat as much space. This one they actually pulled a little bit of honey out, but this side's empty. So you can see right here, they started putting some in there and capping it, but it's not enough because this side's completely empty. So we'll see what they look like if they got other ones that are like this. If this is the most that they have on one of these other frames and the next box down, then we'll put this one back. This one's a lot more capped honey right there, so that can go in our box, and if they don't need it, we get to spin it for ourselves. You see, they were doing some really good work, because this top box has got some capped frames in it. Here, I'll show you something too why we know that we can use this top box here. If you look inside of here, there's no bees at all. They're not up here being active at all. Under down there, they got some capped honey frames. You can kind of see them down in there. So they have capped honey in the next one down, the next one down, and then this one is mostly honey, or at least it was last time. It could be a mix of brood and honey, but I do have a queen excluder in here, so she can only go up so far to lay eggs. That's how we know that we can use some of these frames to keep for ourselves. And like I said, if I need to be fed back, then we'll feed them back like in spring. But for the most part, we're just gonna end up using those. And another really nice one. They did such a good job with these. I mean, that is beautiful. I love seeing the look of that right there. They did such good work. Alright, I'll give you guys one more look in here. Now that we got that top box off, I'll show you. You can see right down in there, you see how the combs are coming all the way out and they're capped off right there. So what I want to do is I don't want to mess with any of these. They are kind of overflow a little bit, like those are kind of big. I don't see any obvious signs of anything bad going on in there, but they are a lot of capped off frames. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that they have those for winter. And you can see there's a lot more activity up here in this box from the bees. So that's why we need to get rid of that other box. They weren't working up there at all, they're working in these ones. And bees, they will always try to work, right? So if we left that other box on here, they're gonna try to fill it, they're gonna try to heat it, they're gonna do all that stuff. So by eliminating that box, we're giving them a much better chance to get through winter by decreasing how much space they have to heat, and then making sure that they don't have all that empty space that they're trying to work to fill when there's not anything to go out and get to fill it, right? If you've never seen one of these before, I did a video about it. This is the Vivaldi box. It's like an empty little half box there for you. And what you do is you put the screen in here, and then you can fill it around with wood shavings is what I use. I like this box in the summer because it actually keeps everything cool. It's got these vents on it, so it keeps a lot of cool air flowing through the top of the hive. Come winter time, it's really good because you can put the pine shavings in here. That's what I use, at least, little wood shavings in here, and it'll actually absorb moisture from the hive to keep some of that moisture out of the hive. I really recommend Vivaldi boxes also. I think they're a great product. I know a lot of people are out there making all sorts of new boxes that they use. I still think this is a really good box, and I use it every year.
But I'm lost in a sugar-induced fever dream of you. You're so sweet, you give me toothache. Chewing on you just makes my jaw break. You're a hard pill to swallow. Forgetting you, it just seems impossible. You keep crawling back with no intention to stay. Oh, you're so sweet, you give me toothache. Please don't tell me I'm a mistake. That's just too much for my brain to take. Can't tell you all the pride I've swallowed. Forgetting you is just proving impossible.
Whew. Yeah, so here's that hive butler. I'm telling you guys, this thing is super nice. 4 locks on there. I'll put one of these nice looking frames out. Man, these girls did such a great job this year of making us honey. And I gotta tell you, this was the least I've done anything inside of that box. I kind of let them go feral and just do what they wanted to do. And as you can see, I mean, the production they had is just, it's nuts. And I got 20 frames that I gotta spin at some point in time real soon, like. All right, that was a quick little bee thing. I put the bees to bed. They are done for the winter. We won't be going back in there. Hopefully they won't be too mad at me. They'll seal up that last box, and then they'll be good to go, and they'll make it through another winter. And this will be the second winter in a row if they do make it. I think because we did everything we did in the last time, the exact same. I didn't change anything. I'm not getting fancy. I'm not trying to add foam or anything like that. I'm just gonna leave them because I built them in a nice little well, you know, insulated type area away from winds and a lot of weather, being where they're at. I kind of planned for all this with my bee yard, putting it the place I did so that they would make it through winters, and this will be the second one if they do make it. But we did get it through last winter, so, you know, fingers crossed. All right, guys, remember to be bold and grow bold. We'll see you in the next one.